action from the NALS conference in York, and I'm delighted to be joined by John Midgley of SAFEagent. So welcome, John. Lovely to see you here. And I think, we should celebrate the good guys in the private rented sector, shouldn't we? And it's so great to see so many agents here committed to raising standards and personal development.
I think it's, yes, I agree entirely. I think it's something that if one listens to the media and particularly the politicians, one forgets that there are very good landlords out there and very, very good agents out there. And I think from a SAFEagent point of view, we've had a really successful campaign around client money protection. It isn't yet mandatory, but we've nearly got it there, and we'll keep the pressure going. But I think we're living in very demanding times for both good landlords and good letting agents, because when the media decides to have a go at either of them, they tar them all with the same brush.
Yep. Good example of that was Channel 4 Dispatches last night, actually, where they were really highlighting rogue operators, but there was no balanced view.
No, absolutely, and I think what the balanced view is missing from the media and from the politicians, and to a certain extent, one can understand it up to a point from the politicians' point of view, because their postbags will be full of complaints from tenants who are having a bad time. But we would support those tenants if they're having a bad time. We would point the finger at bad landlords and bad letting agents. And I think what we would want is that the government and local authorities start being a lot more proactive about weeding out the bad guys instead of just bad-mouthing, in effect, the whole of the market and the whole of the industry.
Right. Because the councils do have actually quite strong enforcement powers, and they don't seem to be using them as much as perhaps they should to weed out these rogues.
Well, I think the problem from the council's point of view is they do have strong enforcement powers, and those powers are being increased all the time through new legislation. The problem for the councils is that they have very limited resources to carry out those powers, and it seems pretty strange that under the Housing Act we're looking at increased powers for local authorities at the same time that the local authorities have diminished resources to deal with them, and I think that's a big gap that both national and local government need to start closing.
No, I think that's a very valid point. And on these programmes and in the media, we hear of tenants sort of almost as if they've been forced into the private rented sector, but the fact is that landlords are filling a gap where social housing is failing, and that's never mentioned.
No, absolutely. I mean, I think both the government and the media have got to start recognising that good landlords and good letting agents are a huge answer to the country's housing problems. Yes, I accept there are rogue landlords. Yes, I accept there are rogue letting agents. And I, as much as anyone at this conference today wants to get rid of those people. But the truth is, the private rented sector is here to stay. It's here to stay in the long term. All the statistics point to it growing. It's our job to make sure that it grows in a healthy and safe environment for tenants and for landlords and for letting agents.
And I think one of the main benefits of an event such as this is to help agents see where the opportunities are lying ahead, and also to be aware of the pitfalls.
I think that's absolutely true, and I think it's also interesting, and this always happens when you have events like this, is that letting agents do exist in a bubble in their locality. And letting agents, we are all very bad at talking to each other and with each other. And this is a huge opportunity for people to get together, share their experiences, share their problems, and come up with common solutions, and learn about what's going on out there, but also learn that they can, to not a massive extent, but they can to some extent help shape the future of the industry. They aren't alone, and we are all together, and that's what it makes organisations like NALS and SAFEagent so powerful.
Indeed. So just give us a final reminder really of SAFEagent's message, because it's absolutely vital to keep getting it out there and create consumer awareness.
SAFEagent's message is very, very simple. It is one single message. Do not use an agent who hasn't got client money protection. Client money protection is protecting both tenants' money and landlords' money, and I'm just saying that because I've spoken to national newspapers who didn't know what client money protection was. Believe it or not. But we have been very, very successful. Agents now have to state whether they've got client money protection or not. We will continue our fight until it is mandatory for all agents to have client money protection.
Well, keep up the good work, John. Thank you very much for joining me here at the NALS conference.
Thank you.